So today's preview game actually uses eggs as currency. So why don't we show you 3 ways to cook eggs?
3 ways to cook an egg. Hard-boiled. So to hard-boil an egg, you take a regular egg and go ahead and you're going to put that into a pan. Good job. Now you're going to go ahead and put some cold water on top of that egg to cover. Yep, thumbs up. Now go ahead and put that pan onto your stove and cover that. And go ahead and turn on the heat. And you're going to bring that to a boil. So once that is boiling, go ahead and turn off the heat and remove the pan from the heat source. And then go ahead and set a timer there. We're doing for 17 minutes. And once that timer is all done, yep, time's up. Yes, thumbs up. You can use a clock. And go ahead and take the lid off there. Please be very careful because the water is extremely hot. And now we're going to go over the stove and we're going to dump out that really, really hot water. Being careful not to bounce the egg around too much. Careful. That egg is very hot. And you're going to run this under some cold water until the egg is cool enough to touch. Then you can go over to a paper towel and go ahead and crack that egg on all sides there. And peel off that peel. So get all the little bits off. And perfect. Scrambled. So you're going to take an egg. You're going to go ahead and crack that on the counter and put that into the bowl. I spilled a little there. It's okay. Just get rid of that shell because we don't need that. Go ahead and add some pepper and some salt. And give that a good mix. Awesome. Yeah, wipe that up. That's gross. So you're going to take a skillet and you're going to go ahead and put some nonstick spray into that skillet. And turn on the heat. And you're going to let that pan get nice and toasty. So when that pan is hot, you're going to go ahead and you're going to dump your eggs into the pan. So you take your eggs and dump them into the pan. No, dump them into the pan. There you go. Good job. So, nice swirl. So go ahead now, and if you want to, you can go ahead and add some cheese there, because cheese is delicious. And then we're going to go ahead and just scramble those eggs up. Perfection. Yep, that wasn't even in frame. So go ahead and take your eggs. Yep, turn off the heat. Don't forget to turn off the heat. And go ahead and put those eggs onto the plate. Delicious. Lastly, an omelet. So it's the same steps as making the scrambled egg, so go ahead and mix that up. Thumbs up, yes, we know. Spray your pan with some nonstick spray again. And let that get hot with the heat. And once that's hot, go ahead and dump in your eggs. And now for this one, to add a little flavor to our omelet, we're going to go ahead and add some green peppers that we already had diced up. So swirl it around so you have an even coating of egg on the bottom of the pan. And let that cook for just a few minutes. So once that's cooked a few minutes, you go ahead and we're going to flip our omelet. So go ahead and flip. Ooh, that's a good flip. So now we're going to flip the whole thing over and just flip it. Just flip it. Just flip the... Just... Oh, no! What do you... Okay, so we're just going to make scrambled eggs now. So, scrambled eggs with green peppers. Go ahead and scramble that up. Yeah, perfect. And go ahead and put that onto the plate. Turn off the heat. Always turn off the heat. And now let's go ahead and look at the game. Yeah, thumbs up.
To play Mommie's Critters, first of all, you're going to separate the deck. First, you're going to find Mommie, and she's pretty easy to find. She is front and back, so it doesn't matter which way you have her, but you will place her on the table, and you've got to remember, you've got to feed eggs to Mommie every single round. Then, you're going to take your egg cards, and you're going to give them a shuffle because there are some. Let's see if I can find one here. Where is one? Oh, there, yep, right at the end. There's a chocolate egg. So you give the egg cards a pretty good shuffle. Then you have your critters. So you are going to give your critters a good shuffle. And then each player is going to receive 5 egg cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And every player is going to receive 2 critter cards. Then, once you've done that, you take your egg cards and your critter cards, and then the extra cards, which are some spell cards and some chicken cards, and you're going to shuffle that all together and make one big draw deck. Then you'll set the deck in the center of the table along with your Mommie card, and then the game will begin. According to the rules, the player with the wildest sounding childhood nickname gets to go first. Between Will and I, when we were playing a 2-player game, neither one of us had wacky names, so I just went ahead and I went first. So what you'll do is you will look at your hand. You should have your egg cards and a couple people, a couple critters. You're going to draw a card. So you draw a card at the beginning of your turn, and then you can go ahead and you can play one critter, or if you have a chicken, you can play that chicken. Now, the 2 critters I have are free to play, so I can play either one of these. I can play Boodle or I can play KK. But some of the critters have an egg cost, where you have to spend an egg to go ahead and play them. So, looking at my cards here, Boodle's ability says paint an egg. You may discard an egg in order to draw 2 cards. That's not too bad. And KK says any players with 2 or more critters in play must give you a card. So I'm going to go ahead, actually I'm going to play Boodle. So Boodle's free to play, so I place Boodle right in front of me. Then I can go ahead and I can use any abilities that I want to use that are out in front of me. So I'm going to go ahead and use his paint egg ability. So I can go ahead and I can discard an egg. So I'm going to discard an egg and I get to draw 2 cards. So I drew Shell, and I drew, put those things back where they came from. Then, what you have to do at the end of your turn, you must always give Mommie an egg. So you give Mommie an egg, and that's not a discard pile, that's Mommie's pile. And I always put it next to Mommie, because if you start covering her up, people might think that's the discard pile. So I just put it off to the side. Then it goes on to the next player. They'll do what they do. It goes around the table and it'll come back to you. So you draw a card at the beginning of your turn. And now let's see what choices we have. Well, I have 4 eggs. I still have KK, but I drew that one spell card. I drew Shell. Let's see what the spell card does. Select 1 critter or chicken currently in play from each other player, then shuffle them back into the deck. Now, if I want to, I can play this card at any time. I can play this card on another player's turn. I can play it on my turn. Whenever I want to play, as long as I can play the cost, which is 1 egg. Shell here. Shell Aroma. Select any critter that is currently in play and add it to your hand. Very interesting. And Henby Sleep. End your turn. That is very cool. So until the next turn, ignore all effects, and you do not have to give an egg to Mommie. So that's a really good one to have if you have no eggs in your hand. So let's go ahead and I'm going to play an egg to play shell. So shell goes out. Then I can go ahead and use any ability. So I'm going to go ahead and use Boodle's ability first of all. So I'm going to pay another egg to draw 2 cards. So I drew 2 more eggs. And then if I wanted to, I could use Shell's ability. So select any critter that is currently in play and add it to your hand. So if somebody else had a critter out, I can go ahead and use his ability to snatch that from them and put that back into my hand. Now, the way you are eliminated from a round, if you ever cannot do what the card tells you to do. So if somebody else had a card that was saying you must pay an egg or you must give a card to another player and you have no cards to do that, then you're out of the round. Also, at the end of the game, or excuse me, at the end of a round, if you have to pay Mommy and you have no eggs, you are out. And you are trying to survive. The last player standing is the one that is the winner of the game. One thing I did not show you was the chocolate egg. The chocolate egg is really cool because it counts as 2 eggs. And you got to use up the whole thing on your turn. So if I wanted to, I could use the chocolate egg to play a critter or a chicken. And if I wanted to, I could also then use the other half of this card to go ahead and play a spell. And I've mentioned the chickens a couple times. The chicken is not a critter, but is something that you can play. And then when you have it in front of you, you can play lay an egg. So you take a card from the discard pile and put it into your hand. So if you have a chicken, it's a really good way to make sure you always have eggs to pay Mommy.
This program is part of the Pathological Nerdcasters Network. Find more at pncn.rocks, where all the geeks come to play.
So that is Mommie's Critters. It's all about survival, but is presented in this cute and adorable and fun way. Now, I have a blast with this game, but this isn't something that I would break out, every game night, like, oh, come on over, we're playing Mommie's Critters. No, but this is a great way to round out your game night. Use this as to break the ice with people, or use this to finish out your game night. I am going to be going to one of the Lake Erie Islands with my godson's parents, and this is definitely a game I'm going to throw into my bag that we can play, a couple of rounds before bedtime. So this is something that I definitely suggest. This was a blast to play. So if you're interested in that game, please, I'll have a link down below, so please go ahead and click on that, and it'll take you right to the Kickstarter so you can find out more information about that. And as always, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe, and help support Cloak and Meeple. My Patreon link is right over there, my subscribe button is right down below, and I will see you next time. So today's preview game actually uses eggs as currency.